Alright, welcome to the video. So today we'll be talking about March the 7th. March is a ice preservation unit that everyone gets. She can shield and tank, but she can also freeze, counterattack and cleanse off debuffs. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start with the skill. She's able to provide a shield for her or an ally that will last for 3 turns. If the shielded character has 30% or higher HP, the chance of the enemies attacking that ally is greatly increased. The shield scales off March's defense. The shield is definitely very good, and the aggro can actually benefit some characters, which I will get into later in the video. Her ability to freeze comes from her ultimate. It deals ice damage equal to a percentage of March's attack to all enemies. Then all the hit enemies have a 50% base chance to be frozen for 1 turn. The enemies that are frozen from this ability will take additional ice damage equal to a percentage of March's attack at the beginning of each turn. Keep in mind that the freeze is a base chance, meaning that if the enemy has high resistance, they can resist the freeze and not get frozen. Most of the time you're not using the ultimate for the damage, but for the freeze of course, since the skill and the ultimate both have different scalings. As I mentioned before, the shield scales of defense, while the ultimate scales of attack. If we quickly take a look at the talent, this is where her counter abilities comes into play. If a shielded ally is attacked by an enemy, March will counterattack that enemy and deal ice damage equal to a percentage of her attack, and she can counter 2 times each turn. However, there is an Eidolon that can improve the amount of time she can counter each turn, which I will go over later in the video as well. This icon will glow up if there's a shield among the allies, and this will indicate that you are able to counterattack, while these 2 dots over here will indicate how many counterattacks you have left of the turn. The damage from the counters in itself isn't really much. However, there are some different uses for the counters that are actually very useful for March. First off, you are able to regenerate energy with each counter, which of course is very good because now you're able to get your ultimate a lot faster, and then you get a chance to freeze the enemy. Another thing with the counters is that you're able to break the toughness bar with each counter. That's of course very good if you're against enemies who are weak to ice, since you're of course now able to break the toughness bar a lot faster. Her technique is pretty good as well. It gives her a 100% base chance to freeze 1 random enemy for 1 turn, and that frozen enemy will not be able to take action and will take additional ice damage equal to 50% of March's attack. Her technique is definitely very good since the enemy will be missing a turn because they're frozen. However, keep in mind that it's a base chance again and not a fixed chance, meaning that the enemy can still resist to it. Overall, her kit and utility is definitely very good for a lot of teams. It can feel annoying that there's a split scaling in her kit. However, I don't think that it's that bad since you're most likely using her for her utility and not her damage. And another thing is that some of her Eidolons can help out her damage a bit, which I will get into later in the video. Alright, let's talk about her Lightcones. Her best option is Moment of Victory, which is a 5-star gacha Lightcone. It will increase your defense and effect hit rate unconditionally, which is very good, and it also increases the chance for you to get hit by the enemies. And whenever she is attacked, her defense will increase again until the end of her turn. The increased chance of getting attacked isn't too bad for March in my opinion, since you will be building a lot of defense on her, which means that she won't be taking as much damage. Of course, you are able to just shield yourself if you are in danger. The effect hit rate is also very good because you now have a higher chance to freeze the enemies with your ultimate. So overall, this is her best option, so if you have this one, you can definitely use this one. Another 5-star Lightcone is Texture of Memories. It will increase the effect resistance, and if she's attacked and doesn't have a shield on her, she will then gain a shield based off her max HP lasting for 2 turns. And this can only be triggered once every 3 turns, and if you have a shield then you will have damage reduction. This Lightcone doesn't really benefit anyone other than the wearer. In this case it's March, so I don't really want to recommend this one, especially because there are other Lightcones in the Herta shop that can be better than this one and might be more useful. And also because there are other 4-star options that I do think are a bit better. So let's take a look at those. So let's start off with day 1 of my new life. This is the one that I'm using. It increases your defense and it also increases the damage resistance for all allies. This is of course very good because her shield does scale off defense, and the damage resistance is of course very good as well, since your team now will be taking less damage. Overall, I do think this is one of the better 4-star Lightcones for her. So if you have this one, you can definitely build it and use it on her. If we take a look at the Battle Pass Lightcone, this is me. This one also increases the defense unconditionally, which is very good, and it increases your ultimate damage equal to a percentage of your defense. That is of course very good. However, this is of course a battle pass light cone, which you can only get from the battle pass, so I don't expect everyone to have it, but if you have this one, you can definitely use this one. Trend of the universal market is also a very great one. It increases the wearer's defense again unconditionally, very good, and whenever a March is attacked, there's a 100% base chance to burn the enemy, and for each turn they will take damage over time equal to a percentage of the wearer's defense for 2 turns. This can help you weave in some more damage, since you do want to build defense on March, so you are actually able to do a bit of damage with the damage over time. If you have this one built, you can also use this one. We Are Wildfire is a free-to-play light cone that you're able to buy in the shop, but it can also drop from the Echo of War. At the start of the battle, you give the whole team damage reduction for 5 turns, and you're also going to restore 30% of your missing HP. This one is decent, but I do think the other options are a bit better. But if you have this one built, you can definitely use this one. I don't think Lano's Choice is a very good option, but if you have it built, then you can use it if you want to. It gives much damage reduction, however she is more likely to be attacked. It can be good, but if you're in a team where there are other allies that want to be hit, such as Clara, then I don't think Lano's Choice is a very good option. But if you want to use it, you can definitely do it. For the 3-star options, you can use Amber if you want to, since it does increase your defense. But keep in mind it's a 3-star light cone, so you will be receiving less base stats compared to a 4-star or a 5-star. Alright, let's talk about her traces. In my opinion, you should prioritize the skill, because the defense scaling does go up with the trace level. After that, you can go ultimate or talent if you want to for more damage. However, you need to keep in mind that the chance to freeze the enemies on the ultimate doesn't go up with the trace level. For the basic attack, I do think that you should skip it, mainly because the resources in this game are very limited at the moment, so I do want you guys to spend it on something more valuable. Her bonus abilities are actually very good because they do focus on her utility rather than damage. If we take a look at Purify, her skill will remove a debuff, which is of course very good and gives her more utility. Reinforce will extend the duration of the shield for 1 turn. That can be alright, but I don't think that it's very necessary, mainly because the shielded ally will receive more attacks because of the aggro, so you will most likely lose the shield from the attacks rather than the duration. But of course the extended duration can be useful against enemies who don't do that much damage to you. Ice Spell is very good. It increases the base chance to freeze by 15%. As I mentioned before, the freeze is very useful, so a higher chance to freeze will help out the team's survivability a lot. So overall, her bonus abilities are very good, but I do think that you can leave out the second bonus ability if you want to. But keep in mind that if you want these bonus stats, then you do have to level up the bonus ability. For the Relics, when it comes to stats, I do see 2 options for her. In the early game where you don't have any relic sets, you just want any pieces with defense, since the shield scales with defense. When you're finally able to farm relics, then Knight of the Purity Palace is her best option. It increases the defense and it increases the shield strength. For the ornament sets, I would recommend Bellowbog of the Architects. Bellowbog will give you defense, and if your effect hit rate is 50% or higher, you will gain extra defense. You can also go Fleet of the Ageless. It will give you max HP, and if your speed is 120 or higher, then all allies will receive a 8% attack increase. In my opinion, I do think Bellowbog is the better option, but both will work very good. For the stats on the pieces, there are 2 options. You can go full defense or you can go more utility based. With someone like Clara where you do want the enemy to hit you, then full defense is the way to go for a bigger shield. However, if you just want to use March for the utility and just for survivability alone, then I do think that going for stats that are able to help you get your ultimate out and freeze the enemies can be very good as well. So I will give you 2 options. For the full defense build, you can go defense on the body piece and then speed or defense on the boots. I would recommend speed even though it's a full defense build, mainly because you do want to be able to shield before the enemy is able to attack you. Then for the sphere you go defense, and for the rope you go defense as well. Now for the other build, I would recommend going effect hit rate, then you can go speed, then defense on the sphere, and then energy regeneration rate on the rope. The reason for these stats are that the effect hit rate will be able to help you freeze on your ultimate, since it's only a 50% base chance. And the energy regeneration rate will help you get your ultimate up a bit faster, which means that you're able to use it more often and get more chances to freeze the enemy. You can of course pick and choose if you want to, but like I said before, if you have someone like Clara on your team where you do want to get hit, then I don't think effect hit rate would be a good idea, because you might end up freezing the enemy and that will result in them not being able to attack you. But like I said before, you can pick and choose whatever you want to. For the substats I would recommend defense and speed, but effect hit rate is also pretty decent. Her Eidolons are actually very good. It gives her more utility and more damage at the same time. For her E1, whenever she freezes an enemy with her ultimate, she will regenerate 6 energy. That will result in you doing more damage, but also taking less damage because you do have more chances to freeze the enemy. For her E2, whenever you enter battle, she will grant a shield to the ally with the lowest HP percentage, lasting for 3 turns. A thing that you need to know is that if the whole team is full HP, the character in the first slot will be the one receiving the shield. Her E3 levels up her ultimate 2 times and her basic attack 1 time. For her E4, she's able to counter 1 more time with her talent, and the damage dealt from the counters will have the damage increased equal to 30% of March's defense. This is a very good Eidolon since you do get more hits now, which means that you're able to regenerate more energy, and you're able to break more shields, and you will do more damage from the defense scaling. Her E5 levels up her skill 2 times and her talent 2 times. And for her E6, the shield from March will now be able to restore HP equal to 4% of their max HP plus 106 at the beginning of each turn. This gives her even more utility, which of course is very nice. So now for the teams. Since she's a preservation unit, you can throw her in any team. I do want to mention some characters that actually synergizes very well with March, one of them being Clara. Clara is probably one of her best partners. Clara's kit is based around her counter, so she basically wants to get hit. With March's shield you're able to increase the aggro on the shielded ally, meaning that if you're shielding Clara, she will be more likely to be hit, which means that she can counter even more. The shield in itself is also very good of course, since it will help Clara not die. Another character or characters that I do think will synergize very well with March is Arlen or just any other destruction character. Arlen is easily able to be under 30% HP, so he won't be taking aggro. And Arlen do want to be at a low HP so he can dish out more damage. So the shield itself can help him be at a low HP very safely. Blade is supposed to be a 5-star destruction character. However, I still don't know what he does, but from what I've heard, he is able to take his own HP, so March might be good with him, but as of now, I'm not sure. Another character that synergizes with March is Dan Hong. Dan Hong's talent gives him wind resistant penetration if he's targeted with an ally's ability. So you can easily just throw on the shield on Dan Hong, which will help out his survivability but also his damage. But like I said before, you can just throw March in any team and she will work very well. So overall, March is a very good unit that everyone has access to and is able to fall back on if they need survivability. She does have very good utilities for different scenarios, such as freeze, shield, cleanse and a pseudo taunt, as well as healing if you have her E6. She's also fairly easy to build as well, which is of course a huge plus. With future characters that want to be hit or want to be at a low HP, she can definitely be helpful. But that's pretty much it. If I missed something or you disagree with something, feel free to leave a comment. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.